So in this video, we are going to look at establishing clear boundaries and incorporating a self-care practice when teaching from a trauma-informed perspective. So firstly, clear boundaries, having those will provide a sense of safety. It will provide a sense of predictability, not just for your students, but also for you. The trauma survivor probably has experienced boundary violations in the past, probably more times than we can count. So it's really important to create an environment where they feel safe, they feel respected, they feel supported, and having those consistent boundaries helps you to build that trust, helps you to establish that sense of stability. So yeah, but it's also in your favor as well, so it helps you feel safe and supported too. It's vital because establishing like that self-care element to it is because it can be emotionally draining. It can be really, really demanding when working with someone or several people who have experienced trauma. But without kind of that proper self-care and that sense of self and what is appropriate for you and what is not, you can become quite overwhelmed. You can become burnt out, and it can re-traumatize you as well. So, I'm all for one that that you prioritize your own well-being. When you do that, as we all know, you can then support your students better. You can maintain a healthy balance then between kind of practicing empathy, but also that detachment that you may need. Which leads me into something called transference, which is it's a really important concept to consider when you are teaching from that trauma-informed perspective. Transference, you may have heard this, and you may know all about it, but it occurs when a student, they don't do this on purpose, but they unconsciously transfer feelings and attitudes or behaviors from their past onto their teacher. So that can manifest in a myriad of different ways. But if you don't have awareness of transference, you can then inadvertently reinforce unhealthy patterns of behavior. You can become emotionally entangled with your students' experiences and dramas. You can really be pulled in to their orbit, if you like. So transference, it comes in all sorts of different ways. So one, idealization. So when a student may idolize you, may put you on a pedestal, could view you as this perfect, flawless figure that can do no wrong, and they may seek constant approval from you. They may seek constant validation from you. They may look towards you as the person that knows everything, is the wise one that can do no wrong, a kind of guru projection that can happen. So they might idolize you as their teacher. So projection, the student may project their emotions, their thoughts, or their experiences onto you, onto their teacher. For example, if a student feels inadequate, they may perceive their teacher as judgmental or critical, even if you're not, and your actions suggest otherwise. They are looking through that pair of glasses, if you like, that everyone is out to get them. Everyone criticizes them, they're not good enough, and they can project that onto you, even if that is not where you're coming from. Resistance is one. So students may resist your authority or your guidance, due to unresolved conflicts that they've had in the past or negative experiences that they've had in the past. That could kind of manifest as defiance or avoidance. We have students that can unconsciously transfer feelings or expectations, if you like, that they have towards their parents onto teachers. They may seek kind of more nurturing side of you, or they may seek the disciplinarian from you. Whatever they desired from their parents but didn't get, they can project that onto you. So that's called parental transference. Very rare cases, but it does happen, where students kind of experience a romantic feelings towards their teacher. Obviously that's really highly inappropriate, so that must be addressed promptly and professionally. So knowing your boundaries around that, knowing who you would go to help you in that situation is key. Competitive transference, so students may feel really competitive with the teacher, and they may compare themselves to the teacher, and that they might go head to head with the teacher. Again, that kind of stems from feelings of inadequacy, or a desire to assert independence in the class, or to become top dog in the class. So this kind of competitive transference can manifest. Some students may regress, so there could be like some regression transference happening. They might they might go into their child self around you. They might go into the younger child self or the teen child self. They might become overly dependent on you. They may appear very needy. They might take up all of your time, all of your attention in your class. It's all about them. And then you have this emotional intensity. So transference can lead to this heightened emotional response in students. So they might be really, really intense fear or anger, which may not be proportionate to the class that you're delivering. There might be, just this heightened emotional response that is triggered inside of them. So the other thing as well is that you can inadvertently take on the energy of others. And you may all have that experience when you're working with individuals and in the class. This can lead to you feeling emotionally exhausted, drained. I like to call it compassion fatigue, where you just give of yourself more than you should. It can re-traumatize and create trauma in its own right. But that sense of self-awareness, that sense of self-compassion, incorporating self-care practices into your daily life, such as mindfulness and boundary settings, and seeking support from colleagues or your own mental health professional, so that you can manage the emotional toll this kind of work can bring, and prevent that burnout from taking on everybody's stuff. Really learning how to separate yourself from that, whilst being compassionate and empathetic, but also holding space and being detached, so that you don't soak it up on an energetic level and take it all home. So by prioritizing your self-care, your own well-being, putting yourself first, you can then create a really safe, a really supportive environment for your students that come to your class, and you can manage the transference dynamics, and you can prevent burnout, and everyone feels good. Okay, thank you.